The Nigerian government has launched a rapid response register and emergency intervention database as part of efforts to cushion the socio-economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on urban poor in the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. Our Rice correspondent, Punarimam Feintola, tells us more.
At this virtual launch in Abuja, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the federal government is giving low-income earners 5,000 naira monthly as stipend for 6 months under the Rapid Response Register. He says this set of vulnerable people were not captured in the previous National Social Register.
The National Social Protection Policy established the minimum guarantees for social assistance and social security in Nigeria. It also provided the framework for the implementation of social investment and social safety net programs in the country.
Officials of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs who are working under the National Social Safety Net program say the target beneficiaries include the urban poor, self-employed and wage-employed. They say cutting-edge technologies have been deployed to launch an earlier pilot scheme where over 100,000 beneficiaries were captured in Lagos and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja.
The COVID-19 cash transfer to the urban poor. I'd like to thank you sincerely for creating time to join us. Today is a critical milestone in both the implementation of humanitarian and social protection programs in Nigeria and the building of a shock-responsive social protection delivery system for the country. It is critical because it caters to the registration of the poor and vulnerable in the urban and rural areas across Nigeria. The National Social Registry, which is the repository for this databases, has largely captured the rural poor households due to the very important prioritization process of starting from the poorest communities.
Minister of Humanitarian Affairs Sadiya Farouk says the gesture is meant to reduce the hardship of low-income earners in urban areas. The government says over 300,000 beneficiaries received 5,000 naira each the moment the scheme was launched virtually. They say it is part of the financial inclusion policy of the federal government known as the Enhancing Financial Innovation and Access Program.
How do we identify this urban poor? 2, how do we do that in a transparent and accountable manner? 3, how do we make sure that payments get to them in a way and manner that ensures the integrity of the process? And then lastly, how do we put a face to these individuals? How do we meet them if we want to? And how do we track impact and to ensure that the right help is gotten? Use this as an opportunity to build a shock-responsive social protection framework for the country. The Rapid Response Register then becomes that building block that ensures that we have a shock-responsive process or platform wherein when we have crisis such like this, we can quickly bring or identify people onto a platform that they could access help quickly.
With the launch of the Rapid Response Register or RRR, the government is now emboldened to further expand the Social Security program to reach a minimum of 20 million Nigerians in the next 2 years, especially under the current COVID-19 challenges. Apart from the federal government, the World Bank is expected to provide funding for the RRR. Punarimam Feintola, Arise News.
Well, for more on this, we're now joined by the Senior Special Assistant to President Muhammadu Buhari on Public Affairs, Ajuri Ngelale. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight. I'm sure the question I'm going to ask you, you've heard it over and over again, that how much sense really does it make throwing so much money, almost 800 billion naira, am I correct? 700 and something for this intervention?
Thank you very much. First of all, there was a bit of false reportage by a certain newspaper that quoted a figure to the tune of something like what you've just said, nearly 800 billion. And that was because they dimensioned the rate of payment at the maximum possible over the next 2 years as an immediate payment, which is not what is happening. So let me be very
so
clear.
what's happening?
Absolutely. So in effect, what you have is this rapid response register, which is the first technology-based social security system in the history of Nigeria and indeed in the history of Africa. No other country in Africa has ever attempted it. Essentially what you'll have is a delivery system that will enable the federal government of Nigeria to pay direct digital payments into the accounts of tens of millions of Nigerians simultaneously at the press of a button in view of any potential emergency that may occur. Of course, today it's COVID-19, a global health emergency, but tomorrow it could be climate related, it could be economically related, it could be based on anything. And we want to make sure that we have built the architecture to be able to implement a process that would ensure that we can provide an immediate response to the needs of our people in view of any emergency that can come up, not just now, but into the future.
Are you saying this is a sustainable template?
That's absolutely right.
So let's come back to you, Ajuri. You were trying to explain to us that it is not 700 or 800 billion as it was extrapolated by some people. What is the exact amount and how did you arrive at that number?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, what you have is a register, a rapid response register is really dedicated to the urban poor. And I think that's important to acknowledge because previously, before now, you'd recall that we implemented the conditional cash transfer, which was the movement of the transfer of physical cash to rural dwellers. Why? Because they didn't have access to banking institutions, BVNs, and even the financial literacy in the far-flung rural communities really is not there. So we took cash to them. With this, we're really targeting the urban poor. These are those Nigerians that are hustling so hard every day. They're in the sun, hawking goods and services on the streets and the markets. So now, these are individuals who have bank accounts generally to transact business no matter how small, but they don't have money in their accounts at this time. So now, what you have is a register of approximately 20.1 million Nigerians, urban poor Nigerians, that are currently on the register. But in this immediate COVID-19 response, we are catering to 1 million that have already been placed on that register. So what you really have is 1 million beneficiaries immediately, and then over the course of the next 12 to 24 months, we're going to scale it up to try and cover the entire 20 million plus that is on the register. So in the immediate term, you're looking at about 30 billion. That is 5,000 naira times 6 months, because we're paying them once monthly for 6 months, 5,000 naira, the equivalent of what we paid the rural dwellers under the conditional cash transfer scheme. Now, if you extrapolate that to the 1 million, you're looking at about 30 billion. And that fund is not just from the federal government of Nigeria, it's also coming from our multilateral partners who we're partnering with.
And that's the more reason why Nigerians would want to ask you, how do you guarantee transparency?
Absolutely.
In this particular matter? And then this number that you mentioned, are they all banked really? That you have hawkers on the streets of Lagos, for example?
Absolutely.
They are banked?
Well, I think one of the great misconceptions we have is just how savvy our people have become over the last 10 years. Just look at the sheer number of SIM cards we have registered in the country. It gives you a good idea of how many people are active. It doesn't have to be an iPhone or a smartphone.
Yeah, I do understand that, but that's not my question.
No, but
that's not the point I'm trying to make.
I'm answering.
I need to make this point.
To the bankability.
Where do you find these people?
Absolutely.
This 20.1 million that you have on this register.
And that's exactly what I want to explain. So what you have is if you communicate with a hawker on the street, for example, 7 times out of 10, the hawkers you'll meet, if you say, I don't have cash, they will give you their account number to transfer. It's just that right now, in response to COVID-19, in view of the lockdowns and all of the things that happened, they were adversely impacted. Now, as to the point of how have we pinpointed those beneficiaries, it's a very beautiful system. What we've effectively been able to do is we've triangulated very key critical data sets that dimension very clearly those who are in need. Let me tell you exactly what I mean. You have the first set is information that has to do with SIM card data registration. So working with telcos, we're able to get the registration information for SIM cards. We joined that with the NIN, the National Identity Number, and joined that most importantly with the BVN, in collaboration with the banking system. Now what you have, in effect, is we've been able to dimension accounts that have consistently been beneath approximately 5 to 10,000 naira over a long period of time. Based on that account history, we can dimension very clearly that these accounts belong to the extremely impoverished. And then that's not the only point. We also, because of the data we have from the SIM cards, we're also able to geolocate them by use of the telephone masts we have around the country. And we know if you go to places in Lagos, for example, just as an example, like Ebute Metta, Mushin, we know where you have a very dense population of the urban poor. And so we join all of these factors to get to that register.
All of what you're saying sounds so amazing, fantastic idea. I love it instantly, and I know a number of Nigerians will listen to you and think this is awesome. But the question is, those people you said they're banked,
right.
These are the poorest of the poor in Nigeria. And then you know that a number of them throughout the time of COVID said, we heard that things are shared, we have not seen one. Now you're looking at people like that and you're saying, how do you identify them? You have a strategy that seems like really good, but in terms of implementation, how do you find the man in Ajegunle who really hasn't got a house but has an account that he used somebody else's house to get? How do you find him as part of the poorest of the poor to make sure he gets the 5,000?
Well, that's a fantastic question. You know, the numbers don't lie. And what I mean by that is this. Because of BVN, we have the advantage of obviously looking at multiple bank. So for example, let me make this very plain for our viewers. You have 5 bank accounts across 5 banks. One has 100,000 naira in it. The other 4 have 0 naira in it. We're not just looking at the 0 naira accounts. We're looking at the BVN. So there's no way that you can pretend that you don't have money that you have, for example, in terms of how we're dimensioning these accounts. So if you have if you're looking at an account, for example, and you can see somebody who has over the course of a year plus, consistently the inflows and outflows are 100 naira here, 200 naira there, 300 naira there, and all of that, and that's the level of inflow outflow. You will now know that maintaining that under 5,000, that this is a truly impoverished person. They're not pretending. So at that point, based on that, whether the person is, like you said, somebody who does not have a home, or whether he's renting, or whether he's living in his brother's flat, or whatever the case may be, the fact of the matter is we are targeting the impoverished, whether or not they are family men and women, whether or not they are Muslim, Christian, whatever the factors are. Our concern is their financial state and making sure that we have a means of reaching them directly when they need it most. I think one of the
sorry, we have to let you go because of time. But I'm just looking. Okay, we have to let you go. But please, I'm sorry, I have to really ask this question. What is going to happen? Oh gosh. Okay, now I'm being told that we have to go. So I got to let you go. Thank you. We will be happy to have you back.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.